Welcome back to 5-Day Crypto. My name is Chase. I'm a level 1 CMT and full-time trader. Today we are going to look at Chainlink. We're going to do a price update for Tuesday, December 10th. Currently at 21.45. Thereabouts. What do we want to look at for the short term for the next several days to maybe a couple weeks? And then we're going to zoom out to the weekly chart and look at the macro, maybe even the monthly. So if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you want more help navigating this cycle, want extra daily content, a lot more advice from me on how to set things up, trade, all the ins and outs of everything I've been looking at day in, day out for the past 7-8 years in crypto. Consider subscribing through Patreon. That's linked below. And we talk about all kinds of things, including your requests. So if you want more help, that's where to find it. All right, daily chart. Double back-to-back retest the past 2 days of this 21 EMA. This is the key for the short term, right? This is tend to be where we hold. And this is not Chainlink specific. This is any coin specific, any chart, the 21 EMA. If it holds this, you're still good to go. If you start to lose this and you close a candle, the closing is the significance. And if you put it on a line chart, right there, you can easily see the close, right? Turns to blue. This only updates the closing. If we see that closing price under the 21 EMA, which is 2072, that shoots the odds way higher of further consolidation, no matter what chart you're looking at. The higher the time frame, the longer the consolidation, usually, right? That makes sense. Okay, now these yellow zones, if you're like, what the hell are all these? These will make more sense as we zoom out to the weekly, and we'll talk about those there. But we're at the key point. If we want Chainlink to continue higher in the near term, right, it must hold the 21 day. But will consolidation kill us? No, we would like that. We went from $10 and over 160% move in less than a month. We're okay if we take a breath, right? That's healthy, right? 160% in a month on a $10 billion asset, no problem. Would we like to consolidate the 21 day? Of course. If we don't, like, what is our lower targets? Would it go possibly any lower? I'm glad you asked. Let's zoom out to the weekly and take a look. So you can see our double high wicks here. Not necessarily a tweezer top, but it's flirting with it, right? So could be a sign of a local high. If we get that and move back down, we have the 786 at 1830, previous range high here, right? We also have the EMA 8, which is 1821 as of right now. That's a pretty great spot. If you want to add more to Chainlink, that would be the decent time to have an open order in. If we go lower than that, if that doesn't close on a weekly, which, given the context of this November shoot up, right, 100 wick to wick, we're like almost 180%. That should hold. Worst case scenario, you have the 618 at 15, but I don't give it a whole lot of weight. I think the 786 around the $18 mark would be much more of a big level. EMA 8 is rising week over week. As of this week, it's down here, but next week, I would project it to be over 19, which is also high wick here, high close, right? This whole zone. If we zoom out even more, right, you can see the 618 on the macro. This will make more sense on the monthly, which we'll zoom to in just a moment. But the Bollinger Bands are still wide open here, right? Look at the bottom, right? We still have higher probability of up. Now, obviously, if we come down here this week, the rest of this week, and we close under this zone, that Bollinger Band might close up, which would just signal further consolidation. Maybe we, grind along the EMA 8 for a little bit, or do a rhyme of back here, right, from early this year. November, massive move again, right? Consolidate for several weeks. This was a couple of months. I doubt we're going to get that long to consolidate. Alt season should be relatively nearby for a lot of coins. I would speculate Q1 of 2025. So maybe half of this, we just test the EMA 8 and then go again, right? Test the EMA 8 and go again. Now that EMA 8, if it's a couple weeks away, could very well be around 20, right? So you don't want to just get $18 in your head. That's of this week. Next week could be rising, right? Should be rising, no matter how much price drops. So we'll update you on further videos. And, we'll see how this goes, right? How this goes. Worst case, as of this week, if we got just a rip down, right? Bitcoin just kicks the bucket, goes to 88K, something like that. And I think, high 80s for Bitcoin would be about the worst case that I could see in any given week, at least for now. And then, then we might get some altcoins flushed down a little bit more. So this would be worst case scenario down here. You can see range highs from over a year ago, the dip here under it. And you have a lot of interaction with this zone here, and the 618 is right there. So around 1540. Watch that 21 week. Okay. So now let's zoom out to the macro and look at the monthly. Now these zones make a little bit more sense. We have our zone at the 382 back here, our 382 here for the short term and the macro. This, like, if you saw a wick, perhaps you might touch that again, but I would say we could probably start to ignore that, right? I don't think Chainlink will be going back down there. On the monthly, could we see a wick down here to this zone? Absolutely, right? Range high wicks. Could be range low wicks. Ideally, in 21 days, when January 1st rolls around, we'd love to be above the 618 here, 21. Like, the most bullish, if we could get above the 1 and close, right? Remember closing prices. We'd love to see a close above that 1, which is around $23. If we could do that, spectacular. We'd really love to close around the 786, right? Previous range highs, $30, $31. That could be epic, right? It's definitely still a possibility, given the fact of how much we've done in the past couple of months, right? We were just at $8 not that long ago. So let's not be too greedy here, right? If we take a break, right, this makes sense. It's range highs from February. The closing price is 1928. Anything higher than that come January 1 is a big win for the bulls, right? It's pushing through and closing a monthly higher candle for the first time since the last damn cycle. That's a big impact. Not to be taken lightly, especially after 4 months of holding that 50-month EMA in the green there, right? Just like in the bear market, we held it as resistance. In the bull market, initially, right? This is the last time we should be hitting the 50-month this entire cycle. And, this is just the start. Like this, you just open your eyes, right? This is not up for debate, right? This is, we've just started liftoff here, right? The fires are just kicking off. All right. So our next high frame target is the 786, obviously on the macro range highs. And then, then it's, how can you not have a discussion? Our all-time high monthly close, though, is not even above $40. So even if you go to the short-term fib extension of 618, right? We're in monthly uncharted territory if we can close anywhere above $38. The 2618, still in the triple digits, 123. And if we zoom out more, the macro 618 here, 230. Is it still possible? I get this is probably the most question. The number one question I get in the YouTube comments is like, how high is Chainlink still going to get to 100 or 200? Is it still possible? It's still possible. Until we see Bitcoin dominance under 54, we can't really judge it too much. When you see a full-blown alt season, which again, when Bitcoin dominance is under 54%, I think we'll see that. Then you want to pay attention to which coins are performing. So ideally, Bitcoin dominance is at 54% and lower. We'd want to see Chainlink knocking on the door of range highs. So somewhere above 30 or higher. Anything above 30 or higher, and I still think these targets, more this one, still has a great chance. If we're still stuck in the low 20s in this time in January, then maybe we look at this level, right? We'll have to reanalyze it, but we make at least weekly videos on Chainlink, if not more, and then we stay update much more often in our Telegram group. So again, consider doing that if you want to stay updated on Bitcoin dominance, altcoin market caps, Tether dominance, anything you want to talk about, altcoin requests, it's all there. All right. Did you get enough out of that? Did I miss anything? I know I had a request for Gassian channels, but if you're like, why the hell doesn't he talk about Gassian channel anymore? Well, it's not really that significant. You can see on the monthly as I say that. We are just now breaching the top of it. But if you go way in here, it's way below us on the shorter time frame. So it's like, when we were back in here, right, it's worth looking at. But as soon as we breach that, looks good, right? Let's go to the 5-day and see an update there. We are red. How are we going to turn this back green? It's probably going to take an alt season, honestly, right? Because to turn a Gaussian channel green, it needs to point up. How long is that going to take? Well, look at the bottom of the time frame here, right? These don't bend easily. So I would say, like, best case scenario, we're looking at probably mid-January, if not February, before we can hit that green again. Not that significant, right? It's not like, everything has to be green to go, right? But this is the first time in many coins history, especially Chainlink, that Gaussian channels on the 5-day have actually flipped red in a bull market. So we'll have to see how that plays out over the next, 6-12 months, assuming the bull market lasts that long. And we can kind of, take it from there. Like, is the Gaussian channel as effective as it was the previous cycles? Maybe not. Looking at the 5-day, though, this is much more likely of a tweezer top. Tweezer tops just signal like local highs, just much higher accuracy of nailing a local high. Now, that could last a week or two, or it could last a month or two, right? We don't know. But if Bitcoin chills out the rest of December, right, altcoins, or goes down the rest of December, I should say, right? Because if it chills, I think altcoins will get a kind of a fire lit, right? We should see Bitcoin dominance fall if Bitcoin goes sideways. It's only on high volatility, like we saw yesterday, if you were around for that, where Bitcoin dominance tends to spike, no matter if price goes up or down. So, all right. Questions, comments, thoughts, let me know down below. I'll try to read all those comments, even though there's 50 million spam comments now. All the bots are out again. It's a bull run when there's more bots in the comments than humans. All right, quote and card of the day. Quote of the day. I truly believe this. If people sat outside and looked at the stars each night, I bet they'd live a lot differently. Have you ever tried it? Don't knock it till you try it. If you tried it once in your life, it does nothing, right? Like lifting weights. Go lift weights once every year. Tell me how much effective that is. Go look at the stars on a nightly basis, as long as it's weather permitting and they're out. Just go sit and look for 5 or 10 minutes. As simple as that is. Starts to change you. All right, try it. Let me know in the comments if you're going to try it. For the 4 of you reading this far. Okay, card of the day. Koenigsegg CCX. This is one of the rarest Koenigsegg's. You might not have even heard of this one. I was lucky enough to see one of these, this exact one, at a car show once. And how would I know it's this exact one? It was one of one. I talked to the displayer, right? It was like, wasn't the owner. It's like $3 million car. But yeah, there's like 2 in the world of the CCX and the exposed carbon, and they're different, obviously. The red interior is, this, I believe this is, someone probably knows this. This is in Switzerland, I believe, right? This is the home of Koenigsegg. I might be wrong in the Switzerland part, but it's over there, right? You could, I've seen shows at this place too, right? But this car is way shorter than you think. Like if I'm 6'1", I could jump over this car if I got just a little bit of a running start. These bumpers are like below your kneecaps, wild low, like 2 inches off the ground. The doors are spectacular, and this is all exposed carbon. If you don't see. Like, you can probably see if I zoom in there. Excuse me for my picture covering this magnificent creature. There we go. Koenigsegg CCX. Absolutely a piece of art. And this is actually like, I want to go with like 20 years old, if you can fathom that. How amazing this is for as old as it is. Okay, enough on that. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching this long if you have. Blue hat, blue room, blue sign. Chainlink.